Let's hop across the desk now to Belle Lupton, who's here to bring us a review of the international press. Welcome back, Belle. We'll start off with that trial in The Hague. Of course, former Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo, he's been tried by the International Criminal Court. So what is the international press making of this?
Well, whilst it might be one of our headlines at France 24, it's not getting as much international press coverage as you might think. But I've picked out two papers that are covering the story in a little more detail. So first of all, the French weekly Courrier International, which comes out today. And that asks, can Gbagbo win his case? It lists the elements in his favour and those against him. In his favour, first of all, court procedure. Gbagbo accuses the court of being biased against him and in favour of his political rival and also his successor, Alassane Ouattara. Now, challenging the court's impartiality, as he has done, could potentially cause it to swing in his favour as a response to that. Now, there's also the fact that none of the charges against him have actually been confirmed yet. And on top of that, his liberty is seen as one of the crucial factors in a process of national reconciliation in the Ivory Coast once the process is finished.
But there are fears, aren't there, that if he is freed, Gbagbo might try to wrest power back from Ouattara.
And that's one of the reasons that's playing against him, according to Courrier International. He's 70 years old now, and according to Ivory Coast law, he has until 75 to put forward his candidature to run for president again. Now, the court may try and ensure that that doesn't happen by eking out the trial for another 5 years so that he is over that 75 limit.
What about the reaction in the Ivory Coast? What are the papers there making of this?
Well, the New York Times has a reporter in the capital, Abidjan. Now, that reporter interviews the victims of alleged victims of Gbagbo's crimes against humanity. But it focuses on the role of the International Criminal Court, the ICC, in all of this, saying it's going to be a test. It's concerned by the fact that the ICC is currently pursuing 10 countries, cases involving 10 countries. Now, 8 of those are African countries. So, I'm quoting here, critics call the court a tool of imperialism because it pursues cases in developing countries while major powers like the US, Russia and China refuse to submit to its jurisdiction.
Okay, well, another story about certain nations not submitting to the beliefs of others. This is closer to home this time. We're talking, of course, about the Iranian president's visit to France. What more can you tell us, Belle?
Well, hopes were high for this presidential visit, with direct talks expected between the two heads of state. The state-run Tehran Times runs an opinion piece by a former diplomat and also colleague of Rouhani, putting the ball firmly in the French court. It falls on Paris, he says, to decide whether it will just seek to sign a few trade agreements with Iran or whether it'll seek to seize this historic opportunity to foster a durable relationship with Iran. And French paper Le Monde replies to that with an apparently welcoming tone, saying "Bienvenue en Europe, Monsieur Rouhani." But the headline has a sarcastic undertone, which is explained in another French paper, Libération, in a cartoon there. Rouhani is seen looking at some sculptures. They've been covered in a European museum. His aide behind says, oh, he likes them a lot. They're very contemporary. And now that's a joke about Italy's covering of these nude statues. Earlier this week, when Rouhani was visiting Italy, it was feared that the exposed genitalia might offend the leader of the Islamic Republic. The Washington Post says that decision caused international scandal, but that it needn't have, because nude statues can and do offend all over the world, and not just in the Islamic world. The example it gives is actually in a Tennessee garden centre, which had to cover some of its statues with nude bikini stars. I mean, here we're seeing others. This is again another gallery. They had complaints from the local public, which meant, here we are, that these bikini-clad statues had to be sold because the naked thing was getting too many complaints.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, indeed. I'm not sure it adds much to the statue.
Well, apparently the sale value went up hugely after this change, which is, again, nuts.
It's a bit bonkers, really. Let's finish up quickly, Belle, with a new film by about Michael Jackson, rather. That's in the pipeline, but it's already courting controversy.
Yeah, and that's because white actor Joseph Fiennes, better known for Shakespeare in Love, has been cast as Michael Jackson. The Daily Beast goes straight for the jugular. They say it's a symptom of a deeper sickness that movie makers are only now beginning to treat. And Slate has a more nuanced and brilliantly acerbic piece about this, which admits that given MJ's ever-morphing physical appearance, colour casting seems like a legitimate thing to ponder. But it concludes, nope, you don't cast a white actor to play Jackson, you get a black guy because MJ was black even when he was white.
Goodness, not even going to mention anything to do. Better not to touch
It's
that
a minefield.
story.
It is a
with
minefield.
The barge pole. Thank you very much, Belle Lupton with the International Press Review. Will Hildebrandt bringing us the day's top business stories. Do stay with us here on France 24. We're back after this short break with more of the latest international headlines.